Good morning. It's time for story time with Louie and Sophie. And we're going to continue Ramona the Pest. Yesterday, we talked about we read about how Mrs. Quimby went to Miss Binney and asked why she had asked Ramona not to come back, and she had said that Miss Binney wanted her back when she was ready to come back, and then Ramona said that she's never going back. So, thus began a difficult time in the Quimby household. But Ramona, you have to go to kindergarten, protested Beezus when she came home from school that afternoon. Everybody goes to kindergarten. I don't, said Ramona. I used to, but I don't now. When Mr. Quimby came home from work, Mrs. Quimby took him aside and talked quietly to him. Ramona was not fooled for a minute. She knew exactly what those whispers were about. Well, Ramona, suppose you tell me what went on in school today, said Mr. Quimby, with that false cheerfulness grown-ups use when they're trying to persuade children to tell something they don't want to tell. Ramona, who longed to tell her father and show him where her tooth used to be, thought a while before she said, We guessed what Miss Binney had in a paper bag that began with T, and Davy guessed caterpillars. And what else happened? Asked Mr. Quimby, all set to be patient. Ramona could not tell her father about her tooth, and she was not going to tell about pulling Susan's curls. Nothing much was left to talk about. We learned T, she said at last. Mr. Quimby gave his daughter a long look, but said nothing. After dinner, Beezus talked to Mary Jane on the telephone, and Ramona heard her say, Guess what? Ramona is a kindergarten dropout. She seemed to think this remark was very funny, because she giggled into the telephone. Ramona was not amused. Later, Beezus settled down to read a book while Ramona got out her crayons and some paper. Beezus, you don't have very good light for reading, said Mrs. Quimby, and she added, as she always did, You have only one pair of eyes, you know. Here was an opportunity for Ramona to show off her new kindergarten knowledge. Why don't you turn on the Dawnzer? Do you remember back when she mistook the word Dawnzer? Remember what she was talking about? Why don't you turn on the Dawnzer? She asked, proud of her new word. Beezus looked up from her book. What are you talking about? She asked Ramona. What's a Dawnzer? Ramona was scornful. Show me your scornful face. Silly. Everybody knows what a Dawnzer is. I don't, said Mr. Quimby, who had been reading his evening paper. What's a Dawnzer? A lamp, said Ramona. It gives a lee light. We sing about it every morning in kindergarten. A puzzled silence fell over the room until Beezus suddenly shouted with laughter. She means, she gasped, the Star-Spangled Banner. Her laughter dwindled. Dwindled means gradually decreasing or getting smaller. So I'll show you my voice dwindling. Here is my voice dwindling. See how it got gradually decreased? So her laughter dwindled to giggles. So it went, That's how laughter dwindles to giggles. She means the dawn's early light. She pronounced each word with exaggerated distinctness and then began to laugh again. Ramona looked at her mother and her father, who had the straight mouths and laughing eyes of grown-ups who were trying not to laugh out loud. Here's the picture. Beezus was right, and she was wrong. She was nothing but a girl who used to go to kindergarten and who got everything wrong and made everyone laugh. She was a stupid little sister, a dumb, stupid little sister who never did anything right. Suddenly, everything that happened that day was too much for Ramona. She glared at her sister, made a big crisscross motion in the air with her hand and shouted, Cross out Beezus. Then she threw her crayons on the floor, stamped her feet, burst into tears, and ran into the room she shared with her sister. Ramona Quimby, her father said sternly, and Ramona knew she was about to be ordered back to pick up her crayons. Well, her father could order all he wanted to. She was not going to pick up her crayons. Nobody could make her pick up her crayons. Nobody. Not her mother, nor her father, not even the principal, not even God. Now, never mind, Ramona heard her mother say. Poor little girl, she's upset. She's had a difficult day. Sympathy made things worse. I am not upset, yelled Ramona. Oh, Louie got upset. And yelling made her feel so much better that she continued, I am not upset, and I am not a little girl, and everybody is mean to laugh at me. She threw herself on her bed and pounded her heels on her bedspread. But pounding on the bedspread was not bad enough. Far from it. Ramona wanted to be wicked, really bad, really wicked. So she swung around and beat her heels on the wall. Bang, bang, bang. We're going to stop right there. Find out what happens with Ramona tomorrow. Have a great day.